$1,300 a day. Is that a pretty big increase? For a little muffin store, like imagine if there was like 10 of these, you know? I never thought of that at the time. What I did do though, the next thing I did to increase my business, took me to about $1,000, that strategy. The other $300, you know how I got that? I got this tray here, and what I would do is I'd have agents at other parts of the market, so I would give them a tray of my muffins. I'd say, look, I'll put this tray on your store, with some samples and the signs, right? And you sell the muffins, and then we'll share whatever profits we make at the end of the day. And I made another $60 from each storeholder that was selling my muffins. So I had about five of those, so it was another $300. Right? Very simple stuff. It was like they were like my franchisees, or distributors or agents, right? Whatever you want to call it. And that took my business $300 a day. Now, when I sold the business, what if it was my wife was pregnant with the first child, with our first child, and she said, look, I'm not helping you bake the muffins anymore, and I was sick of it too. So I said, I'm going to sell the business, and I want to get into this marketing. Because I really got excited about hearing this Jay guy make $3,000 for an hour. You know, so it's going to be a lot easier than baking muffins at 3 o'clock in the morning. So I started studying what he did, and I started going to businesses, teaching him some of the stuff I learned on my muffin store in my first, in my early, days of that business. And what happened was that since then, I started out by writing a book with what I learned about, working with some of my early clients and on the muffin stand. And, I started selling that book for $129. And I did it by fax. I used to fax out 100 faxes on a Saturday, 100 faxes on a Sunday. And on Monday and Tuesday, I had like 100, about 12 orders at $129 each. So suddenly, for virtually very little work, the book cost me $10 to photocopy because I couldn't even print it because I still didn't have enough money, right? So I used to say to people, well, would you like the pre-publication copy, or do you want to wait until the printer gets them to me, which will be out 7 weeks? I didn't say I can't afford to pay him, right? So I basically just, sold the photocopy book until I made enough money to print a whole run of them. And, I was selling like probably $1,500 a week just of my manuals, of which about, it cost me $20 to print out. So, I was making $1,200, $1,300 again from that. And then I started selling some other products, and I was doing consulting. Anyway, the result was that by 1995, right, I was making no less than $1.4 million a year worth of products and consulting services, showing businesses how to do what I learned in the marketing and sales area, and also selling the products and packages. There's like 6 boxes going on. Each box was like $1,500 profit. That's just for 1 week. So by then I'm making like $9,000 per week out of all the stuff that I developed. And I use internet, direct mail, fax, email, phone, one-to-one contact, small workshops, plus I license other people to sell my strategies by then in my books. Mostly my books. I started mail order business with that. So, people often ask me, right? Well, actually, there's another story, right? People often ask me, if you're making, if you're making so much money, like, where did you come from, right? And in 1980, right, this was me, right? This was me when I failed university, right? I was really shy. I was very mummy's boy. I was an only child. That's actually me there with my mum, right? I failed commerce, and worst of all, I thought the only way I could ever make money was to win lotto or marry into a rich family, right? Now here, in 1989, this is where I just almost killed myself, after I met my wife and we went on the trip and stuff. This is where I was living when I had the spa business. I had a room with a little, really ugly wallpaper. I was sharing with 2 Japanese students. That was the car that I had the vacuum cleaner hose in. And that's the entrance to the room. It was a little damp sort of room that I shared with 2 Japanese students in the house, right? And so I went from that in 1989 when I made a decision, right, to actually, make a change. And I bought this place. It was the first house that I bought in 1995 when I started to make the money out of my business, right? And that was in Madrabad. It had 1 kilometer driveway. It was a beautiful sort of house surrounded by trees. It was like my vision, right, of where I wanted to live. That was in 1995. Then after my second divorce, I bought this house. I'll tell you about the divorces later. It's shocking. Anyway, this is the house I bought on the water on the Gold Coast, and I was single then. It was fully furnished because I couldn't furnish a house to save myself. I got no taste, right? So I bought it completely done, and it had like grand piano, beautiful steak. It was a beautiful house, and I was single, so I thought this would be a good party house. Of course, as soon as I bought the house, I met a lady who had 2 children. By that stage, I had 4 children with my second wife. and then we were having a baby with the next, my third wife. So there's like 7 kids and a house with 2 bedrooms. So we had to sell that. So I sold this place, and I got this place, which was up on the hills in Talai, which is like about 8 bedrooms up the top. It's got a 4-room offices underneath, swimming pool, a spa, there's a sauna, tennis court. It's just a huge place, right? It was like, the guy that did the garden said it was like working in a hotel. It's a full-size billiard table, and I lived there and worked there for 5 years because I love working from home. I didn't want to ever work from in like an office. I always try to work from home, and I had all my products and stuff were shipped from the garage up the top there, right? So that's where I lived for about 6 years until my 3rd divorce. So I had to sell that then. And now I got this place, which is right near the beach, and it's another $1 million poorer, so I had to sort of, do it again. That's why, by the way, I'm still working, because I keep losing the money, right? But that's where I am today. It's right near the beach. I've got a couple of dogs. My daughter, who is now 17, lives with me down the bottom, and that's where I am today. So people often ask me, like, how come you're still working? And that is it. There was like my 3 wealth producers of this, right? Like taxes, first of all, I pay a lot of tax, right? And divorce is the second one. They say the love is grand, but all my divorces started like 800 grand, So, and my 3rd wife, was funny because the way that happened, because there was, one day I came home and she was like, just not herself. And I said, is anything wrong, darling? And she goes, no. I said, come on, something's got to be. No, nothing's wrong. So guys, there's something wrong when you get the twice nothing's wrong thing, right? So I said, what have I done? And because I've travelled, I was doing a lot of seminars, right? So I thought, what did I forget? Then I realised, oh my God, it was a birthday. And I forgot a birthday last week. So I said, darling, look, I know it was your birthday. I'm sorry I forgot, but listen, I'll make it up to you. I'll get you anything you want. What would you like? She said, yeah, all right, then I want a divorce. And I went, geez, I didn't want to spend that much. Jeez. So, anyway, here we go again, Mind you, my 3rd wife loves spending money. I've got to tell you this, right? Her favourite book was like my checkbook. Every time she picked it up, she wouldn't put it down until she finished it, In fact, once when we went on a holiday to Bali, someone stole her credit cards, and it was a month later, we come back and I still haven't reported them stolen. And she's like, you haven't reported, I haven't got my cards yet. I said, well, I haven't reported them stolen yet. She says, well, why not? I said, well, whoever's got them is spending less than you are. So I'm not reporting them. Alright? So, look, we had a child with my 3rd wife. I had fortune with my 2nd wife. We were together for actually 12 years, and I was fine with sort of supporting them, but the 3rd divorce was a bit of a mess. I just finished about a year ago it all finished. So that's why I'm still out here, because every time it happens, I've got to start again. So let's get into the seminar now. And by the way, I still believe in marriage, though, because like I said, my parents were married for 54 years. The trouble is I'm going to have to be 106 to live up to this, to their record. So I'm still hoping. So anyway, so the goal today is really, there's 2 things. By the way, before I tell you what today's about, I've got to tell you another thing. There's nothing that I'm trying to sell you here today. Right? I'm not coming here to sell you a book or some course. All this stuff you see here is just stuff that I have written, that I've created. They're like my resources. Like lawyers have books at the back of them to refer to. These are my reference materials that myself and the people that I train use, but they are not really, they're not for sale certainly here today. We're not selling them. If you like what you hear today, what you see here today, then what we'll do is I'll tell you how you can get some information you can take home, which is in this blue box. Doesn't cost anything. You can take it home with you, and then we make an appointment with you next week to talk to you about, what you might want to do and what we might do next. And I'll share a bit of that with you right at the end of the seminar. So for the rest of the day, I'm just going to fill you with information to show you how you can make $1 million or more within the next 12 to 18 months through a business, right? And I know it's a big promise, but I will deliver on that, right? So, okay. The big picture. I'm going to show you a business model that can make you rich in the next 12 to 18 months if you work at it consistently.